Welcome to this tech tip showing the installation and first launch of Edgecam 2014 R1. This tech tip is intended for the user that has a previous recent version of Edgecam and is updating to the 2014 R1 version. After downloading the DVD image, extracting the contents, and opening the starthere.hta file, you'll have the installation navigation screen shown here. The Prepare section provides the installation guide, which you should read before installing, and documentation on what's new. In the Server Installation section, the Sentinel RMS License Server option is provided for installations where the Edgecam workstations obtain licenses from a network server. There is an upgrade to the Sentinel RMS license server at this release, and we recommend that all users with a network license should run this installation option to upgrade the network license server to the latest version, which is 8.5.3. The SQL Tool Store option is provided for deployments where the tool store database is hosted from a server. This installation option should be done prior to installing Edgecam on the user workstation if this is how your company accesses the database. We will cover this in more detail at the end of the workstation section. The Install section offers the options for the user workstation. We will focus on the Edgecam installation for this tech tip. The Edgecam installation process is very straightforward. You begin with clicking the Edgecam option in the Install section. This launches the Edgecam installer and will guide you through the installation process. After clicking Next, you have the license agreement. When you accept the license agreement, the path where Edgecam will install on the local workstation is provided. We usually just accept that. Typical install is this usual choice, and then the program group that you'll see off start and all programs. Once you've set those, you have a summary screen, and after clicking Next, the installation begins. We're going to skip the progress on the install and just jump right to what you'll see at the very end of the successful installation. When installation's complete, you not only have a Finish button, but also notice that What's New is checked. This way, when I finish, it closes the Edgecam installer and returns to the navigation screen, and also opens the What's New documentation so that you can browse through it and become familiar with the new things that you'll find in the release. You can also get to What's New from the splash screen and also from the Edgecam program group. The other items in the install section are optional. The live job reports are already installed as part of Edgecam. This option is for users who want to put the live job reports on a computer that is not an Edgecam workstation. The part modeler is Edgecam's solid CAD modeling system. You could install that if you wish. And there's also the CAD links that will install an Edgecam plugin into qualified CAD systems. Further information on all of these is available in the installation guide. One thing I want to point out that's new on the installation navigation screen, right above Exit is a Browse Installation folder. This will open up Windows Explorer and allow you to see the contents of the folder, and in here notice that there's now an installation removal tool. This folder contains a quick tool to help you quickly uninstall all of the software pieces that were put on during the Edgecam installation. So if you get to a point where you want to remove Edgecam 2014 R1 from this computer, the installation removal tool provides a command to do just that. Notice it only removes the things from this version, and it gives you full control over what to do. So this is a useful tool for any maintenance you may wish to do. With the Edgecam installation navigation screen closed, notice that you have a launcher out on your desktop that provides central access to all of the Edgecam software applications. On the left side of the launcher, you have ability to start a new Edgecam lathe, mill, or wire part, as well as a list of recently used files. The bottom left section are items related to workflow. You also have a tools section where you can get to quickly items from the tool store. And as you scroll over, access to all of the different software applications that Edgecam provides, as well as recently used files in that list. We're going to go ahead and launch a new Edgecam milling part, and we'll look at what happens the first time that you launch Edgecam after installing on a user workstation. The first prompt is asking if you want to use the public documents folder. We suggest that you say no unless there are multiple users that all have their own login onto the current workstation, and each of them is an Edgecam user. What this does is it copies the example and other folder information to either the local My Documents or to public documents, depending on whether you said yes or no. Next, we see the File Migration Wizard, and this is a handy tool for taking the settings from your previous version of Edgecam and copying it to the new one. You'll notice that it summarizes the folder we're copying from and the corresponding folder to copy to. When you click Next, you're then able to select which options that you wish to copy over. Most users will leave all the options selected, and when you click Next, the transfer process begins. The idea is that the File Migration utility is going to copy your settings and make the Edgecam 2014 R1 version look as close as possible to the way that your previous Edgecam version was set up. Your post processors, your screen layouts, all of that is going to be carried over. And so when you first see the new version of Edgecam, it should look very similar to your previous one. You're going to have a question about registering. If you've already registered and are hopefully using the Vero customer portal and the new customer community forums, you could skip that. If you haven't done that yet, you might want to take a moment to register, and then you'll see the new Edgecam version. And remember, you've got a quick link to what's new available to you easily right here from the Help menu. This final segment is for customers that host the tool store database from a server. If your company doesn't do that, you can ignore the remainder of this tech tip. In this deployment scenario, there are typically multiple user workstations, which we'll call clients. They all use a common tool store database installed on another computer, which we'll call the database server. In this type of environment, the database server should be updated to the new version before installing Edgecam on the clients. So step 1, working on the database server, complete the SQL Tool Store install option. Next, step 2, still working on the database server, upgrade the database. We'll show that next. Once both are complete, you can proceed to complete the Edgecam installations on the clients, which we showed in the previous segment of this video. Let's go take a look at, once the SQL install is done, how to upgrade the database. So we've launched the Tool Store Administrator, and you can see that the database has a red flag showing it needs to be updated. We'll tell it to upgrade the database, and we typically give it the database name and just put the correct version number behind it to identify it. And after you've clicked the upgrade process, that database is now upgraded, leaving the old one intact and a new one alongside it. And we can even go select the new one, make it active. At that point, that finishes the maintenance on the database server, and you're ready to proceed to installing Edgecam on the clients.